Today we're going to talk about the difference between the words farther and further in English sentences. And this video was requested by a viewer named Prakash. So let's look at our examples and some of the rules. Our first sentence is, he runs a little farther each week, or he runs a little further each week. This sentence is talking about a physical distance, how far he can run. For physical distances, both words are good. Farther and further can both be used to talk about a physical distance. And different people choose different words, and it's up to you to choose which one you prefer. Now, for some of our more abstract meanings, it is much more common to use further. Further is more common to mean more or additional when we're not talking about a physical distance. So let's look at some examples of that. Further discussion is needed. This means we need to talk about it more, maybe before we make a decision. So further discussion, in this case further, is saying more discussion. And we're using further to modify this noun, discussion. So further can be used to modify a noun to say we need more of that noun. In our next sentence, we need to discuss this further. Further is kind of describing this verb in this case. When we use further with a verb, it means we need to do this action more. So again, this abstract meaning for further is, it means more or additional. Now, some people, native speakers of English, will still use farther in this case, but it is much more common to use further for these abstract meanings. All right, our last example is about time. My first memory is at age 5. I can't remember further back. It is much more common when we're talking about time to use further instead of farther. Remember, this is not a physical distance. This is talking about time. So it's more common in English to use further. Now, of course, like I said, still some people will use farther, but it is much more common to use further in this case. So you can choose further or farther when you're talking about a physical distance, but for most abstract meanings that mean more or additional, including to talk about time, we will use further more often.